Hi, welcome back to Venture Recaps. Today I will be recapping the movie titled Fifth Wave. A girl is seen walking toward a store with a rifle. Cassie enters the empty market and grabs everything she can find when she hears someone. As she enters the back room, a man points a gun at her. The guy drops his weapon and asks her to do it as well. She tells him to move his other hand. The man tells her that he's wounded. When he moves his hand, the girl sees something and shoots him. It turns out it was a crucifix. In a flashback, we see her at a party. She has a brief exchange with her crush, Ben, before leaving. Cassie gets home and checks in with her dad, Oliver, and says goodnight to her brother, Sam. The next day, during soccer practice, Cassie notices everyone else is on their phone checking the news. Later, her family watches the news report about aliens. Suddenly, all kinds of electronic devices stop working and an airplane is also seen crashing due to the electromagnetic pulse that the aliens had activated. The first wave was meant to kill all the power. Cassie's dad picks her up from school. She looks at Ben and thinks it will be the last time she'd see him. Fast forward some time, Cassie and Sam are getting water when the second wave hits. They run away from the falling trees when a giant wave appears behind them. Cassie manages to get Sam and herself to safety. They were the lucky ones as tsunamis had hit all the coastal cities and destroyed them. After that, the third wave was a modified flu that the aliens sent back to the planet. Later, Cassie's family has a funeral for her mom who died from the flu. After some time, Cassie is packing essential things and getting ready to leave. She ties Sam's shoes as their dad packs up stuff. They leave the house and reach a refugee camp before nightfall. That night, Oliver pulls Cassie aside and shows her a gun. Oliver tells her that she must keep it on her constantly and hide it from others. Sometime later, army tanks park in the center of the place. Colonel Vosh announces that he is there to help them. They divide the adults from the children. The adults go to the mess hall for a briefing and the children get on the buses. Vosh interrupts Oliver's argument with an officer and explains that the camp is in danger, so they decided to prioritize getting the kids to safety. Oliver makes Cassie and Sam get on board. He tells her to take care of her brother. Sam realizes that he's forgotten his teddy bear and Cassie goes to get it, making him stay on the bus. Cassie enters the quarters, but as she finds the bear, she hears the bus leave. She runs toward them but does not reach them. Meanwhile, Vosh informs the adults that the fourth wave has begun. The aliens have come down from their ships and are moving among people, possessing the ability to inhabit human hosts and control their actions. Vosh tells them that even though they can detect aliens in children, they still can't detect them in adults. So the kids will be held in a different facility than adults. Cassie appears outside of the hall, but Oliver signals her to hide. Suddenly, a man antagonizes the army and everyone begins shooting. Later, the soldiers leave the mess hall and Cassie walks inside to find Oliver dead. She grabs a rifle and runs into the woods. Later, the children arrive at the base. They are given numbers and told to wait. The first number called is Ben's. He's taken inside the facility and Sergeant Resnick tells him that he's lucky because he can avenge his family's deaths by fighting the aliens. She injects a tracker into his neck and brings him to another room to demonstrate how they're able to detect aliens. She shows him a boy attached to wires and then gives him a special visor to see the alien. It is a parasite that infects humans and controls them. The only way to kill the parasite is to kill a host. On the other hand, Cassie hides in the woods and thinks that her main objective is to get to the base and find her little brother. Later, she runs out of water when she sees the store where we saw her first. The next day, she reaches a highway filled with abandoned cars. Cassie sees an alien drone and gets shot in the thigh. She hides under a truck, but unfortunately, she passes out. Meanwhile, Vosh tells children about the fifth wave. Vosh asks them if they can do what he asked them to do, and all of them, apart from Ben and Sam, say yes. Cassie wakes up in bed with her wound dressed. She gets to her backpack to find her gun but falls over because her wound is still fresh. She hears a man coming and gets back into bed. The man tells her that he knows she's awake and introduces himself as Evan. Cassie asks where she is and Evan tells her how he found her and brought her there. Evan realizes that Cassie might have torn her stitches and picks her up to the bathroom to fix her up. As he's sanitizing her wound, Cassie asks how far they are from the base. Later, he asks her why she asked about the base and Cassie tells him about Sam. Evan tells her that he wanted to help her because he could save his family. At the base, Resnick brings a recruit and introduces her as Ringer. As soon as Ringer puts her stuff down, she moves over to Ben and asks if he's the leader. The girl starts antagonizing the kids by belittling them. Simultaneously, Cassie goes to Evan's room and finds a secret compartment. She finds her gun and limps out of the house, but Evan catches her. An alien vessel flies over them, and a hunter looks for them in the woods. When they get back, Evan tells her that he didn't tell her about the gun because he was afraid that she was an alien. Evan tells her that the hunter is an alien who tracks people down along with the alien drones. Evan warns Cassie her brother may be dead, but she insists on going to the base. so he offers to join her despite the uncertainty of what they'll find. In the meantime, Ben gets closer to Ringer. She tells him that unlike him, she had to take care of herself even before the aliens came. Cassie asks Evan to teach her how to disarm someone. First, he demonstrates to her, then he lets her try a few times and teaches her how to subdue her attacker. On the base, Ringer is teaching her squad how to shoot. Resnick tells Ben that the colonel wants to see him. The boy follows her to a war room. Vosh informs him of several simultaneous attacks on different cities. He shows him a mobile version of the visor to see aliens. Vosh tells him that they need to test the visors on the field, and he'll send Ben's squad to do that. Ben and Sam are unable to sleep at night, and they start singing in the same manner as Cassie used to. The rest of the squad gets irritated by their singing, except Ringer. Meanwhile, Even helps Cassie redress her wound. She kisses him and thanks him. Afterward, the squad boards a helicopter to reach the testing site. Ranger inquiries about Sam's whereabouts, and Ben informs her that he is suffering from food poisoning, but he is actually confined to the bathroom for his safety. Later, an officer reminds them that the visors light up green for aliens and that once they're done, they should signal for extraction. After the helicopter drops them off, the squad enters enemy territory and Ben leads them. Suddenly, they spot two aliens, but before the squad can react, the aliens start shooting at them. The situation gets tense, and they seek refuge in an alley. Ben orders the squad to take shelter in a nearby bus, but as they do, the enemy fire intensifies. Ringer realizes that they can't stay there, so she becomes a decoy for the aliens, allowing the others to escape. They flee the area and find shelter in an abandoned mall. There, Ringer expresses her doubts about the aliens and their fears of children despite being able to cause earthquakes. She decides to lead the squad and removes her tracker, causing the others to see her as an alien on their visors. It dawns on Ben that Resnick and Vosh lied to them and that the visors and trackers were fake. He pulls out his tracker, and the others see him as an alien too. Ben reveals that green indicates humans and that they were tricked. The people who were shooting at them earlier were also humans, not aliens. He explains that the army they are fighting is the aliens, using children as their pawns. He instructs them all to remove their trackers and decides to return to the base alone to save Sam. To make it seem like he was killed, he asks Ringer to shoot him. Meanwhile, Cassie wakes up to find Evan struggling with two men. He tells her to run, and she sees him fall to the ground as she escapes. As she tries to leave, one of the men grabs her, but Evan comes to her rescue and kills the man. Cassie realizes something is wrong and threatens to shoot Evan, so he tells her that he is both human and alien, a sleeper agent created before the invasion. He explains that when he saw her, he fell in love and regained his human side. He also reveals the truth about the army. Cassie walks away, warning Evan that she will kill him if he follows her. Meanwhile, Ben manages to make his way back to the base. Later, Cassie fakes a fall in front of a school bus, and the driver takes her in. Her number gets called, and she receives the same treatment in the base from Resnick. As she shows Cassie the alien, she kills Resnick and removes the tracker. She takes Resnick's clothes and goes to the base looking for her brother. Ben is in a briefing with Colonel. Vosh asks him what he knows, and Ben admits that he knows what they are. Vosh states that humans did nothing to deserve what happened to them. Suddenly, an officer informs them that Resnick has been killed, and an explosion is heard from inside the base. Vosh orders the child army to be deployed. Ben fights and kills the soldier detaining him. At the same time, Cassie is running through the hallways as another explosion hits. Vosh orders drones to be deployed on the site so they can see who's attacking them. Cassie runs into Ben and tells him that she's looking for Sam. Ben tells her they are deploying her brother into battle. Cassie trusts him, and they go to find him together. Two soldiers stop them when Evan shows up and incapacitates them. Evan tells them that he planted the bombs, and once the last of the planes with the kids leaves, he'll take the base down for good. Ben and Cassie get to the transport lines only to find that all the children are there. Both move between the lines to locate Sam when Cassie finally gets to him. Ben takes his tracker out, and they run out. Vosh sees them running and goes after them, but the base explodes. Suddenly, Ringer and the rest of Ben's squad appear in an army truck and save them. Cassie watches the base explode and thinks about Evan. Later, the squad set up someplace, resting and eating. Ben talks to Cassie and asks her what they should do. She says that they need to save the other kids, but she still doesn't know how to. They join the others in the squad and hope for a better tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button for more videos.